This performance is called Cuts, inspired by Yoko Ono's 1961 cut piece. Everyone is welcome to engage with the performance and cut into the clothes of one or both of the performers. Please be careful not to cut their skin. You can come up and cut as frequently as you would like. The performers are in control of the performance and will only abort the performance when they feel an ending has been reached.
Always wanted to do this. You can drop it on the floor. explain that to a non-southerner, I guess. But there's bones in it. How do you eat it? Why do they put cheese and bread on it if there's bones all over it? It's really weird. And we got that. And I thought, really? I'm joking. They made it from $100.
Because I don't know. Because but Nick Rib wasn't really popular, so and none of us understood it.
It's a weird
I don't know. Also, it's
That doesn't. I don't know exactly what you mean, but I also kind of just it makes intuitive sense to me.
there are things at McDonald's that are better than that, and that's just
Since I became a kid, I've tried. There was a place that had a vegan. I think it was just like a frozen. So that's what it is. Just go all the way to this and it's like fake meat and it's all.
we're all going to be eating that eventually. We're all going to be eating it. It's going to happen.
Okay, well, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not sure if I can make anything tomorrow, but it was awesome.
Okay. Same here. It was a privilege. Take care of yourself.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I loved your contribution too. It's really cool. You're a thorough totality person. Hey, I love it.
All right.
Okay, bye, guys.
Okay. None of us
Cuts. So, a couple of backgrounds here. First of all, there's Cut Piece. It's a 1964 piece by Yoko Ono that she performed, and it was in a smaller room, and she invited people to cut her clothing. She was very much in control, and it lasted about, I'd say, 40 minutes. And it was, of course, playing with people's hesitation, enthusiasm to cut these pieces of clothing. Also about making vulnerable things like this, right? And we've done it a couple of times in our class that Ben and I teach together with the students, which again is in an intimate space. And then it was actually Lynn's idea. The last time we did it, which is about a month ago, I think, with the class, she said this would really work as a political piece, commenting on the cuts in the academy, in the university. And so we started thinking about this. Yeah, we'll have some academic gowns and this, that, the other. And we'll do it in a public space where there's another kind of interference right here. And that's what we did. So that's the background of it. So it becomes quite political all of a sudden too. It's still intimate, in spite of the fact that we're in a public space, but it's also political about cuts. Somebody else now suggested we should go to the White House and do it in front of the White House.
Well, Piet and I have been doing a reenactment of Yoko Ono's cut piece for, I don't know, 3 or 4 times now. And we did it last month in our seminar. And after we did it, I thought this would be an amazing piece to do in a more public sphere and have graduation gowns on to speak to the cuts that are happening now at our university and how untenable they are and how unfortunate they are and how unfair they are to everyone, professoriate, all the people that work at the university and all the students who come to this amazing place to learn. So I asked Piet, I said, do you think if you see a chance for an opportunity to perform this, we could do it like this? So we said, okay, we're going to keep our eyes out. And then Piet got a call from Sarayan, who's the person who's organizing this event. And Piet said, let's do it here.
Yeah, well, there was some response here from a spectator and a participant, because the thing in this piece, there are no spectators. There's only participants. So somebody said, this is quite amazing. It makes it very clear that after the cuts, you can't put it back together again. So the cuts will never make it whole again, never. It's impossible. So it is extremely destructive. And we understand sometimes, you need to reduce, you need to cut away things, but it needs to be done surgically with a scalpel, so that actually you can do reconstructive surgery in the institution, in the organization, in the society, etc. So that's really the main political message behind it, because otherwise it's just destruction and malaise, disappointment, lack of motivation, what have you with that.
It is emotional because you're left bare. You're left without the things that helped you, without the things that supported you. You're left down to the bare bones. And yet, in this performance, we reconstructed the clothing that was around us, in the hopes that there is a future, because that's what we want. Perhaps not as it was in the past, but how do we reconstruct towards a future? But, we are losing.
Well, the big difference with the original, which is the inspiration for the story, which is Yoko Ono, is that she did it on her own. It was essentially a mono piece. This here is a duo piece, and I think that's very, very important that we do it with 2. It will be quite different on its own. It would still be possible. It would send a very different message. But the fact here that we are with 2 and being subjected, sometimes selectively, sometimes both together, to the same kind of, let's call them brutal cuts, I think makes it even more political, both the togetherness as well as the separateness, because we're each vulnerable, we are vulnerable together, we are also stronger together, but then perhaps not, because one of us is targeted. So it really demonstrates a little bit how these cuts work politically within an institution. So as an actor, I think it's quite important that we're doing it with 2. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of acting involved, by the way. We're just receiving.
Stop it. It's ridiculous and it's unfair. And the people who work, all of the people who work and are associated with the university deserve to be heard. They deserve to be funded. They deserve to be listened to, because the community, the intelligence, the expertise, and And the care that's taken in education is really important to everything in the world as we move forward into a world that's very disturbing at this point in time. And we need places to study, learn, and listen, tell stories, and educate each other as we move forward.
So I did two things. So I went up there and I cut off Piet's socks. That was the first thing I did. And for me, I was kind of in a comedic register. I thought that would be funny. I thought that would be cute to take my professor's socks, cut them off his feet, or rip them up in front of his face. But then as the performance went on, I almost felt like we were getting into this space of danger. And I started seeing, oh no, my professors, these people that I do love and I care for, my colleagues, I was worried about, oh my gosh, they're going to be naked, they're going to be exposed, what about their consent? And so my impulse went from, let's cut off their clothes, and my impulse went from, let's go back and see if we can reconstruct them a little bit. It came from I had like almost a protective impulse, but then it transformed into a creative one where you're thinking, whatever silly things, I tied the bandanas on them, and do little goofy things with them. But yeah, I initially, my first impulse was like, let's participate, let's play, let's have fun. But then I realized, oh God, this is getting very dangerous. And I think I'll categorize it as a feminist impulse in me went, let's go back and put some clothes on them. And we, in the audience, we were joking because this idea of the performance being about budget cuts. And we were like, well, what if they get a little lifeline, like an endowment or a little grant here or there, and someone comes and just does a little repair to all the cuts? But of course, the cuts continue. Oh my gosh, I think for me, it's something about vulnerability. Like at first the cuts seem like, oh, okay, this is, all right, we can live through this, we can survive. Even the performance kind of had a playful energy. But yeah, for me, the takeaway is like when you start cutting and cutting and cutting, the vulnerability increased, and also the tension for me, because as more and more of their skin was exposed, I got worried that someone's going to cut them for real. We're bringing these scissors close to bare skin. It was one game when we were cutting someone's robe off, but now we're cutting their very, very intimate garments close to their skin. So I think like that danger element kind of escalated, and suddenly I was like, this game has taken a turn. It's a little bit dark now, and who's willing to kind of push the edges the most? And yeah, that's where my impulse to kind of pull back came from. Yeah, my message. I mean, for me, there's something about, there are two very different lived experiences when you're looking at numbers on a spreadsheet versus when you're looking at human beings and their livelihood and their right to education, their right to knowledge, especially the knowledge that people of the world have produced. I think those are two very separate things, and it's one thing to have a nice balanced budget sheet, and another thing when you're actually taking livelihood away from human beings, when you're actually taking access out of their hands. But also, I think budget cuts often come with this really distorted logic to them. There's so much distortion in terms of what drives these budget cuts, in terms of their benefit and who they're benefiting. And like, especially we've seen in this institution, the misrepresentation by, for example, the UC government of a surplus versus a profit. That was, budgetary terminology that was highly misrepresented. But yeah, I think the reconciliation of experiences is the big issue here, and there's this question of value and who gets to determine what something's value